What's going on today, guys? So I want to get this video out to you guys this morning. Today we are going to be talking about the markets, of course. So pretty much, guys, right now the market has just been getting hammered down very roughly, and things are not looking good to many. But in my personal opinion, whenever something like that happens, the fear and greed index is going way down. People are getting overly bullish, bearish at this point. Honestly, guys, I believe that this is kind of being artificially pushed downwards now at this point, and I'm feeling like we are about to see a bounce up. And after that bounce up, we may see another bounce down lower. But I honestly don't believe that the whales are fixing to let this go down any further than $38,000. And that is partially in part because of the amount of adoption and things like that. I feel like if it goes below that rate, so many people are going to be lined up to buy, and I don't know if they're going to allow that many people to get that opportunity. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the markets here. We're looking at Bitcoin right now at $41,784 and Ethereum at $3,100. So with Ethereum, there's been a lot of liquidations and stuff like that, so I'm definitely keeping my eye out on Ethereum, because I'm still very bullish there. As far as Bitcoin goes right now, guys, I honestly do believe that we are going to see a bounce, and I'm going to take a look over here at Bitcoin right now, actually, on the 1 month really quick. If we can get that to load up. There we go. We got that to load up. Okay, so as you guys can see, we're kind of like falling down. It looks like we're starting to bottom out and kind of consolidate around this range. I think about here, we actually did touch that $40,000 range for a brief moment before rapidly increasing, which is exactly what I'm talking about here. If we were to hit 38,000, I think we're going to see a rapid move back up to this range of support here, which is around that $41,000 range. Let's move over to the 3 month really quick. So as you guys can see here, we've just had a slow trickle down over the past 3 months. We topped out here and we've just been on a downtrend. So honestly, guys, in my personal opinion, I'm honestly expecting us to see a bounce. And if we were to see a bounce, I think that bounce is going to be up to this $46,000 range right here, where we are going to see some strong support, because we've seen strong support there previously. Honestly, this is going to be a very hard one to call, because right now we're at that point where if things are going to go bad, they need to go bad soon. You know what I mean? So if things are going to go bad, we're going to see this drop. And if this drop happens and it drops below the $38,000 range that I'm saying right now, I personally believe that we are going to be seeing a downward slope to about the $32 range here. As you can see here, that's where we've had previous strong levels of support, around that $30,000 to $32,000 range. So if we do cross below that $38,000 range, definitely I will be very weary of the markets at that point. But for right now, we're holding very strong here, and it's seeming like the market's not wanting to go any further than that, because as you can see, we've had strong support levels previously here as well in this range, the $41,000 range, $40,000 range, so around that range. So hopefully, guys, we can see some decent bounce movement back upward as we've seen before. In all honesty, though, I'm not too sure what's about to go down right now. I'm just keeping my eyes very closely on the market as we speak of. But right now, I'm going to go over a few cryptos that I am actually currently watching right now, that I think may have some decent potential to go up a decent amount, depending on how you play it. So pretty much with these cryptos, I do have them in order of less risky to the more risky moves. So for those of you guys who are like maxis for any of these that are kind of further down on the list, don't be like alarmed. I'm still bullish on all of these, but I just have them in like my own personal risk order. One last thing that I do want to point out about Bitcoin, though, guys, is we've had similar moves like this before. If you look back here, back in about January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, I got to do that with my fingers. If you guys look back here by about like May, when we had that drop back in May, as you guys can kind of see here, we do have some similarities not completely because of how sharp this drop was, but once we did start to kind of level things out, we did start having similarities to what we are seeing now. This sharp drop may be that retest upwards, in my personal opinion, for us to continue on going forward in the market. And we may see some downside after we reach that $46,000 range. And after that, we should be able to continue moving forward if the market is going to continue bullishly. But with that Fed news, I'm not too sure, because there's a lot of people that are very, very scared for March and May. So we're going to definitely have to see what happens as far as that goes. But anyways, let's start out with this first crypto here that I want to talk about, which is going to be Chainlink. So Chainlink's been holding up very, very strong over the past couple of days, over the past week, really. If we go here on the 7-day, Chainlink has been holding up very decent, in my personal opinion. And Chainlink's been one of those projects that usually when the market is going down, it likes to go the opposite direction. When the market's going up, it likes to stay still or go down. So Chainlink's just like been a weird one like that, and it's been like that for quite some time. Ever since about $2, guys. I've been messing with this one since about $2, and it's just been the same weird way. But I honestly do believe that we are going to see some movement in Chainlink very, very soon. I think it's been stable for way too long, as you guys can see here on the yearly. We pull the yearly up. I honestly believe it's time for Chainlink to start making a move. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on this one, because Chainlink is kind of integrated with just about every project that I've had my eyes on in crypto. And it's pretty much just kind of reminding me of like the Amazon of crypto, almost, the way that they're like kind of leveling things out and kind of like setting their foot in the market. And I honestly believe that Chainlink has a very strong footprint in the market. So with Chainlink, guys, I have Chainlink at number 1 because it's honestly been the safest move for those who want to try to make some sort of gain or try to stay stable in this market without taking optimal risk. In my personal opinion, Chainlink is that spot to be in. Right now, I'm not sure I would personally get in, because it is at $26. The range that anyone would really want it to get in was between that $17 range. I think it did, yeah, $17 and about the $20 range. Anything over 21, I'd be weary about. I mean, 21, 22 is all right, but the optimal range to be in was that $17 to $20 range. But definitely keeping an eyeball on Chainlink, because I think that we may see some sparks here in the near future. So this is number 1 for that specific reason. And I think oracles are about to make a comeback, which is why I have Band at number 2. As you can see, Band is at $5. It's down 4.8%. But the thing with Band, guys, I've been watching Band for like the past 6-7 months. It has been holding this $5 to I think it's like $10 range for quite some time, and it has not dropped below $5 too often. As you guys can see here, we've dropped below $5. We went to about $4.40, and we've seen the sharp incline right back up, and I feel like we're about to see that same exact thing play out again here. As you can see, this looks kind of similar, and when you look at it from the further back point of view right here, we have that sharp drop down, we have that sharp drop down, we kind of rise up a little bit here, we kind of rise up a little bit here, we have another sharp drop down, and then followed up by the move up. So I think we're about to see the move up in Band protocol. Honestly, if Band protocol does see that move up, I think we're gonna go up to about $7 before seeing some resistance. So that's why I'm kind of watching Band, because as you can see here, it's pretty much been holding this range, and it hasn't really dumped any further than the $4. Realistically, I haven't really seen it drop below $4. As you can see here, I'm going to all the low points that I can. Hasn't dropped below $4 very often, and it's been holding very strong support at $5. And in my personal opinion, Band is the closest competitor to Chainlink as far as oracles go. So definitely keeping an eyeball on Band, especially considering that the supply on Band is very tight. There's a very tight supply on band, so it will not take much to send this one, in my personal opinion. So if the market is going to go and start moving upwards, I think we can see these levels that we've seen previously in band if the market continues bullish from here. But that's going to be a very, very long shot call for me to come out and kind of say that. But I'm definitely going to be keeping an eyeball on band protocol, guys. So this is going to be my second watch on my watch list as far as less risky plays go. Next up, we are looking at Hedera. So Hedera is kind of reminding me of Chainlink with all these partnerships and different companies and entities being added onto the board of directors, and just everything that Hedera's had going on. I feel like there's a lot going on in the background that people do not know about with this one here. So that's why I have Hedera here, and I've been watching this one for months, and it's been holding this range very solidly, and hasn't really dumped below this range as well, kind of like band. The lowest it's really been is about 15 cents in the past year. Well, if you want to count this back here, but this was whenever it started getting its move upwards. But I'm talking as far as drops go. In price, we've seen about 15 cents as the lowest, but as of recently, we've seen about 22 cents with Hedera. With Hedera, guys, Hedera is one of those ones that I sit here and I constantly watch, and it just baffles me that it's not trading higher. It's one of those, guys. So in my personal opinion, I honestly believe if Hedera is going to make a move, it's going to be within the next couple of months. As far as the price currently goes, as you can see here, guys, same thing as with everything else. We're kind of seeing a lot of similarities with drop-offs, and then shortly after, short moves up before going back down a little bit. So like I said before, I'm honestly looking for a bounce here. If we don't get that bounce, then I'm honestly thinking that I'm going to be seeing things like Hedera drop down to about the 24 cents, 23 cent range. Maybe even the 22, we might slap that 22 cents, 20 cent range. But if we go that low, it's honestly going to get ate up really, really quick. And we're going to see it bump right back up to this 23, 24 cent range. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on Hedera as well, because Hedera is also another one that I am very confident with leaving my money in. I honestly don't see Hedera dropping any lower than about 18 cents if all things go wrong. So that's if all things go wrong. I could see Hedera going down to about 18 cents, no lower than that. So that's Hedera in my personal opinion, guys. Hedera is a great buy. And none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you guys my personal opinions on these specific cryptos. I do have a lot more on my watch list, but these are the ones that I'm watching the heaviest right now, because I honestly see some very, very great upside potential in each and every single one of these. So that's what I have for you guys for Hedera right now. So next up, we have Cetify. So this one's been a very, very interesting one for me, man. Like Cetify, I've been watching it for quite some time, and then like I just haven't pulled the trigger on it, and I've had many opportunities to do so. I've just been trying to kind of figure this one out. It's been a very, very interesting one to watch on the yearly. So see if I can get this to pull up really quick for Cetify. So as you guys can see, very, very interesting one to watch on the yearly. We've had these very, very parabolic moves upward, followed by sharp drops down, followed by another parabolic move upward, and then continuously moving upward before having a very sharp drop down again. So what I'm starting to see here is a bullish pattern starting, even though we are dropping currently. I honestly believe this may be that move for Cetify to move to new all-time highs past this $16 range. So with Cetify, guys, honestly, I'm thinking that if things can continue to go the way that they are, and kind of looking at it like this here, I honestly do believe that Cetify may see a bounce up to about $10 if the whole market can get this bounce that I'm speaking of. If not, then I'm honestly thinking that Cetify has more downside, down to about $6, $4. So there's very strong support at that $4 range. As you can see here, this obviously this $3 to $4 range, very, very strong support back here. So if we do go down, I think that $4 to $5 is going to hold. And then if we go down below that, that's where we're going to just be stuck in that $3 range. As you can see here, that $3 range has a very, very strong grip. So that's what I'm looking at with CeDeFi right now. Honestly, though, I honestly believe CeDeFi has the potential to be one of those very, very strong runners, which is why I have CeDeFi on this list, because if the market does regain bullish sentiment, which I honestly believe that it's going to, I just really don't see the market going down the way that it usually does in bear markets with the amount of adoption that we've had from institutions, celebrities, just the public in general. I honestly don't see the market going that low, because I feel like there's going to be way too many people trying to catch that dip, and it'll just be a constant battle in the market, guys, as far as whales trying to keep others from loading up. So I really don't think the whales are going to let the price drop like that. And it's not really so much the whales that are controlling the price like this, in my personal opinion. It's institutions, guys. Like, people don't realize when the market recently dropped back off with the China flood and stuff like that, there was very, very active institutional interest in crypto, especially Bitcoin and stuff like that, with JP Morgan and other institutions as well. So it's not very so much like individual whales, but whalish institutions. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a way to explain that. So I really do feel like they kind of got their foot in the door at really, really nice prices, because if you think about it, for an institution to get into BTC back around that China flood time during that dip, I think we went as low as like 30-something thousand, 20-something thousand, like a high 20,000. Let me come back to this Bitcoin chart here. So if they got in out at this low here and they got that buy order filled in for about $29,000, then imagine how much all these other altcoins that they had on their list, on their watch list, and everything else is, they're not down at all, guys, at all. They can still go further down before starting to get worried. So in my personal opinion, that's what I'm keeping an eye out on. But anyways, guys, with CeDeFi, I honestly do believe that CeDeFi is going to be one of those decent ones to watch. CeDeFi is kind of in the middle, which is why it is in the middle of this list, because I've still got about 4 more projects to go over here. So I just wanted to let you guys know that when I'm saying whales, I'm not really speaking individuals, I'm speaking institutional level. So next up we have Veracity. So I've been talking about Veracity for quite some time, and I know a lot of people have been asking me why I have been quiet about Veracity. I've actually been trying to work up on a video for Veracity, but they've been moving at a fast pace, guys. Like, a lot of news has been coming out, and I didn't want to just keep slamming out video after video after video on Veracity, because that's what I felt like I was starting to do. So I'm definitely going to get a video on Veracity, because they've been putting in a lot of work. The team's been working very, very hard, man. Like, I don't think people realize the amount of work that is going in behind Veracity, and it's just insane the amount of work that Mark and the team are putting in. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on Veracity. As you guys can see here, it's kind of looking very similar to this chart here, guys. I've been watching Veracity as far as the yearly chart goes, and as you can see here, this looks very similar to back here. And then we have that big run up here, dump down just a little bit, have this up here, drop down, have another top up right here, followed by one last dip, and then that's when we take off. So honestly, I'm believing that we may see that happen again in Veracity, but on a stronger level. So if that were to happen with Veracity, guys, I honestly do believe that we can see that 10-cent plus Veracity, but I think it's going to take a lot for that to happen, which is why I have this kind of further down on the list. As bullish as I am on this one, I honestly believe it's going to be very hard. I honestly believe that there's forces behind this one that are pretty much artificially keeping this down, in my personal opinion. I honestly believe that the amount of bullish sentiment and support from the community. I always keep an eye on that with certain projects that continuously like get hammered, but there's so much bullish information and just bullish things going on about it, and there's a lot of users and people who support the project, and the project continues to go down, which is very puzzling. And usually that's because there are large players holding it down. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on this one, because there's been places like Coinbase that covered this. They've had the Bright Cove partnership, which is very, very big. I don't think enough people are keeping that in mind with the Bright Cove partnership, guys, because like Bright Cove has worked with places like Ford and stuff like that. So you really have to think about it when you're looking at this one. Why is it down? You know what I mean? Because like the people who are at Bright Cove, whoever is at Bright Cove that has those connections with Ford and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure eventually the word is going to move around about certain things like veracity, because it had to have been crossed past this individual before the veracity partnership even went through. So this individual obviously knows of veracity. But as far as price goes with veracity, guys, this one's going to be very, very hard to gauge, because as you guys can see here, we've held support here previously before having a very, very nice bounce forward on 2 different occasions, right? But we've also seen very, very sharp dips from this range, and we don't really see support, strong support, until about this penny range. So it's going to be very, very, very tough to watch this one, because if we can't hold this 2 cent range, we're going down to about 0.015. We're going down to that range, guys. Like, I would hate to say it, but we're going to be in that penny range again, and we're going to be borderline going double O's. So pretty much kind of like what's going on with Telcoin. I just recently see Telcoin hit 0.009. And even though it did hit 0.009 and went right back up to 1 cent, I'm honestly believing that like veracity is not far from taking a type of hit that Telcoin did take if the market continues to go bearish. So this one is definitely going to be one to keep your eyeballs on, guys. We're holding support right here, right now at this 2 cent area. We haven't really gone any lower. I mean, every time we go lower, it gets bought back up. I've been watching it. They're not really trying to let it get any closer to 2 cents right now. But honestly, if we have one more strong push down in the market, I'm honestly believing that we can see that push below 1 cent. And if we get below 0.019 and we start hitting that 0.017 range, that 0.017 range is going to be it, guys. We cross below that and we're definitely heading down to like 0.015, and that's where we're going to find support at. So I would hate to be the bearer of bad news on this one, but this one is definitely going to be a little iffy to watch, because as you can see here, we had the 0.015 range has been one of those ranges to kind of stick around, you know what I mean? So it's definitely traded in between that 0.017, 0.015 range. So that's what I'm looking at with veracity. But this one does have very, very great upside, because if it does start getting bullish and it crosses that 10 cent range, because I honestly do not feel like the Bright Cove move and everything else that veracity has like came out with in the past like 2 months just about, I really don't feel like it's been priced into the market correctly just yet. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on this one. This one is definitely a little bit more volatile of a play, but I'm definitely keeping my eyes on this one. I still have my bags, and I'm playing around on futures with this one as well. So I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on veracity, because this one is a special one in my opinion. It's going to be one of those plays, guys. It's going to be one of those plays. So I'm going to try to hurry up and speed this up, because I'm kind of making this video really long with my ranting. But all right, so we got IOTA right here, and then we got 2 more after this. We got IOTA right now. IOTA is at $1.06, guys. In my personal opinion, this is a honest to God steal. And honestly, the reason that it's so low on the list is because this is getting messed with, guys. This is getting completely messed with. For 70% of the total supply of IOTA to be staked right now, and the price to be dumping like this, that leaves there's only a few percent left on exchanges, like in external wallets and stuff like that, that isn't being staked. So I honestly, like, how is it possible that the price can be manipulated so roughly that we drop down the way that we drop down? I just don't know, guys. I don't know what to think about it. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on this one. I honestly don't think we're going to see any more further downside, but if we do, I think we're going down to about like 85 cents at the lowest, guys. 85 cents at the lowest here. As you can see here, we've had that 80-cent range hold pretty strong for us before. About down here. So I don't know, man. Cause we're already here at the dollar range. If we're gonna go any lower, we're gonna go down to about 95 cents. And if we can't hold 95 cents, that's when we're gonna be in this 80-cent range here. But I honestly don't think we're gonna hold that 80-cent range very long before moving back up. It's gonna get 8. It's going to get 8, and it's going to get moved, guys. This one's so hard to look at right now, man. But right now, we have very strong support at this dollar range here. So I honestly don't believe that we're going to go down to that 80-cent range. But I'm just saying, if the market has one more push down, kind of like with Veracity, we're definitely going towards that 80-cent range. And we're probably going to be hovering around 85. Well, when I say 80-cent range, I mean 85 cents to 90 cents. So let me clear that up before everybody thinks I'm like talking stupid. So I'm talking 85 cents to 90-cent range. As you can see here, just holding. Well, this is a little different, guys. This is just huge dump. But what I'm saying is about 85 cents to 90 cent right here. I'm saying this range here, which is not too far down from here where we're looking at now. So I don't think IOTA has much more downside potential in it. But there's always the possibility. There's always the possibility. I mean, for it to be manipulated to the point where it's at now, I wouldn't put it past anything at this point. You know what I mean? So definitely keeping an eye on IOTA, because the upside potential here, though, is great. Great upside potential. So let's see if we can get this all-time chart to load up here. As you guys can obviously see, $5 high back in 2017. And that's without half of the things that's going on now. So if the market is going to continue to move in a bullish notion, I really think that we are going to see IOTA be one of those movers with the staking and the rewards from staking and stuff like that. Definitely keeping an eye on that, because it definitely incentivizes people to hold their IOTA in the Firefly wallet. So if IOTA was to go up, I honestly do believe that IOTA can easily pass that $5 range. And so definitely going to be keeping an eye on this one. But this is one of the ones where it's like, we're really going to have to wait it out, because there's a few things that people are waiting on with IOTA to see if they deliver. So far, they've been delivering, but it's really going to rely on that and the sentiment of the market. So that's why this one's so far down on that list. But I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on IOTA. Next up, we have DigiByte. So right now, DigiByte is at 2 cents. So that's why I honestly put it this far down on the list, because I know a lot of people are very skeptical with DigiByte. You either love it or you hate it type of thing. So that's why it's so far down on the list. I obviously love DigiByte. But as you guys can see here, I honestly think it might be one of those safer moves to kind of be messing around with, in my personal opinion. Because as you can see, whenever DigiByte has had previous runs up, it's pretty much consolidated around this range and hasn't gone any lower than about that 1/8 range, and we're only a penny away from that. You know what I mean? So I honestly believe if DigiByte is going to take a dump down, I think the downside for DigiByte is probably going to be that 0.018 range. So honestly, with this one, because it's held strong support between that 1 cent and 2 cent range for quite some time, guys. So every time it goes down to that range, it has a sharp swing upwards, except for back around here where it actually dipped below and went down to that double O's. And then it also did it here back in 2019 before showing some really strong stability above the 1 cent for pretty much the whole year, guys. So I honestly, if DigiByte were to go below 1 cent, I think it would be like a very pivotal moment in the chart for DigiByte, but I honestly don't think it's going to happen, guys. I think getting DigiByte below 1 cent is like a thing of the past. Like, if you were going to do that, you should have did that back here in 2020, 2 years ago. So as far as DigiByte goes, I honestly believe this may be very close to the bottom, if not the bottom, for DigiByte. So DigiByte, if it's going to go any lower, it's going to go here, and this is where we've had strong support in the past, guys. So 2 cent range, guys, for DigiByte. So that's why I'm saying, guys, I'm pretty much repeating myself at this point. I honestly believe we are going to see a bounce very soon. Like, there's not much more downside before we see this bounce. The upside for DigiByte, if we were to see a bounce, I honestly think we're going to see a bounce to about 5 cents at the max. But realistically, we probably see a bounce to about 4 cents, 0.038. But if we were going to see a hard bounce, 5 cents before we see a drop down to about that 4 cents, 3-5 cent range. So that's what I'm looking at with DigiByte. There's definitely a lot of interesting things going on with DigiByte as far as their entry into the metaverse, and then the increased interest in DigiByte on a development standpoint. I'm definitely looking into that a bit more. But anyways, let's talk about this final coin here, because I'm definitely stretching this video out, guys. So now we got BEPRO Network right here. So BEPRO. I put BEPRO on last because it's been very volatile, guys. Like, BEPRO has just been getting slaughtered, completely slaughtered, but I still have faith. And I honestly believe this is going to be one of those tokens that just gets completely hammered, but then comes back twice as hard. So let's take a look at BEPRO, guys. So this is what we're looking at for BEPRO. So this is what I want to talk about here. This range here. We had this run up, followed by the dump all the way down to this range. So we went up to about 3 cents, and then we chilled around this range for quite some time. BEPRO, I honestly believe we may see chill around this range. Not for as long as this, but for a little bit longer than many expect. I feel like it's going to be a slow move upwards. It's not going to be like just this right here. It's not going to be this at all. With BEPRO, I honestly believe we're going to kind of see some sideways consolidation for a little bit. And I feel like this one is going to be a lagger. If the market does start to bounce forward, I can see it coming back to this 006, 007 range and chilling there for a bit. And after consolidating there, I can definitely see BEPRO kind of trying to sling back up and try to slingshot itself up to this 1 cent area here. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on BEPRO. This one's going to be hard to watch because we don't really see any strong like support trends until about where we are now. So it's like kind of do or die for BEPRO right now, because if we go down, the more downside for BEPRO is pretty much going to be down to about this range here. It's like 001. So for BEPRO, if BEPRO gets hit again, we're probably going to see BEPRO dump down to 0.001, but I honestly don't think that it's going to go that far down, because the amount of buyers that are going to come in on BEPRO, because the amount of potential here is still very large, guys. There's some decent partnerships and a lot of potential here with BEPRO, in my personal opinion. And that's the thing with BEPRO, because like if we can get to this 1 cent range, we held this 1 cent range with strength for quite some time. See, all right, so this is what I want to talk about with BEPRO, guys. Look at this. This range here, we held this range here quite a few times, obviously, as you can see, quite a few times. And then we just see this sharp, just a sharp sell-off down to this, and then we see it again here. What I'm looking at with BEPRO is like, the volatility is just completely there. Obviously, it's completely there. So it's going to be one of those plays where it's like do or die pretty much, guys. Like, I'm just trying to find a way to explain this one, because I think this is going to be like one of the tougher ones to kind of watch, but it's going to be one of the ones that can probably have the most upside if things were to go in the direction that I think that the market's still going in. You know what I mean? So like with things like this, you want to get into the things that are beat up the most. And I honestly believe BEPRO is one of those things, because like people who bought back here are happy here. So if this were to repeat itself again and the market was to continue this cycle and things played out the way that everybody's hoping that they play out with Bitcoin and the market in general, I honestly see that like we might be able to make a move up to this again, if not higher. But expectations are going to have to be hit with BEPRO, and I feel like the team, I don't think the team's been moving slow or anything like that as far as marketing and stuff like that goes, but I'm definitely seeing a lot of complaints from the community on the marketing side and stuff like that with BEPRO. So this is definitely going to be one that we're going to have to keep an eye out on. But I have not lost faith in BEPRO at all, and I honestly believe that like here's the problem with BEPRO. I just thought about this as well. Here's the problem with BEPRO. There's a lot of traders in BEPRO and short-term thinkers. So like with BEPRO, if we were to have a swing up to 1 cent, we're going to see a lot of sell-offs. Like those who were like skeptical and got in on BEPRO and weren't very, very strong-minded, they're all going to be dumping off at that 1 cent range, which I think is a very, very like mental range for many, especially in BEPRO, because like the second we get to that 1 cent range, they're gonna be like, oh, we haven't crossed 1 cent, and we haven't been able to cross 1 cent for such a long time. Like, look at all this, we haven't been able to cross it. I should probably sell here before it comes back down like this or like this again. And it's going to be one of those things where like if BEPRO can cross 1 cent and people start seeing that it's starting to move forward again, I honestly believe it'll continue to keep that momentum. But this 1 cent range is just a strong mental barrier for BEPRO. So we're going to just have to watch this one. This one's just going to be hard to explain, guys. Like I'm running out of like mental stamina right now. So like, I don't know what more to say here, guys. But anyways, that's all I've got for today's video. This is pretty much what I'm watching in the market right now. So like, let's see if we can refresh this screen up really quick before we close out here and see where everything is trading at right now. So we've gone up about $100. So the market's not really moving. It's just kind of staying in this range for right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens later on today and later on tonight is what I'm really looking at, because are we going to see that overnight movement down, or are we going to see the market kind of start gaining a little bit of momentum and coming back forward? So this is all I got for today's video, guys. If you guys found any of this helpful, just let me know in the comments below. I know I went on for quite some time. I like just ranted pretty much, but this is pretty much just like my thought of my free train of thought right now. Usually whenever I do these videos, I like pre-plan things, so like I have more of a technical approach. So this is just me just like straight off top, just looking at the chart without like taking the time to really break things down and look from a very technical standpoint. This is just me over like long periods of time of watching things. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I'm still thinking that we can at least see a bounce. So if we are going to continue going downwards, I believe we're going to see that bounce, and that's going to give people the opportunity to kind of decide whether or not they want to take some profits, take some more profits and jump out and kind of sit on the side until they get more confirmation. And when things start to go up and they start seeing more bullish momentum in Bitcoin, they can decide to come back in. I mean, they'll have to come back in a bit higher, but it's better than taking the possibility of a loss to some people. And then there's going to be the people that are just going to go down with the ship, and they're just going to hold and just go the long way with it. But we're going to really watch this one out, guys. This one's going to be very interesting. This is an interesting time Indeed, because there's just so many factors going on right now. But anyways, guys, that's all I've got for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next video.